Pessoa was very lonely, lived in a two-room house, working in a bookshop, almost no social life, no friends. He wrote, I asked for very little from life, and even this little was denied me. A nearby field, a ray of sunlight, a little bit of calm along with a bit of bread. Not to feel oppressed by the knowledge that I exist, not to demand anything from others, and not to have others demand anything from me. This was denied me, like the spare change we might deny a beggar, not because we are mean-hearted, but because we don't feel like unbuttoning our coat. The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa, English version of this book, edited and translated by Richard Zenith and published by the Penguin Group. He wrote about literature. Literature, which is art married to thought, and realization untainted by reality, seems to me the end towards which all human effort would have to strive if it were truly human and not just a welling up of our animal self. To express something is to conserve its virtue and take away its terror. Pessoa was born in Lisbon in 1888 and was brought up in Durban, South Africa. In 1905, he returned to Lisbon to enroll at the university, but soon dropped out, preferring to study on his own. He made a modest living translating the foreign correspondence of various commercial firms and wrote obsessively in English, Portuguese and French. He self-published several chapbooks of his English poems in 1918 and 1922 and regularly contributed his Portuguese poems to literary journals. Pessoa wrote much of his greatest poetry under three main heteronyms: Alberto Cairo, Álvaro de Campos and Ricardo Reis, whose fully fleshed biographies he invented, giving them different writing styles and points of view. He created dozens of other writerly personas, including the assistant bookkeeper Bernardo Soares, fictional author of the Book of Disquiet. Although Pessoa was acknowledged as an intellectual and a poet, his literary genius went largely unrecognized until after his death in 1935. In his notes, he frequently wrote about the sleepiness, dreams, and confusion. The entire life of the human soul is mere motions in the shadows. We live in a twilight of consciousness, never in accord with whom we are or think we are. Everyone harbors some kind of vanity, and there is an error whose degree we can't determine. We are something that goes on during the show's intermission. Sometimes, through certain doors, we catch a glimpse of what may be no more than scenery. The world is one big confusion, like voices in the night. The book is made up of fragments of varying length, something like disconnected diary entries over 2 decades. It is, as the author admits, a factless autobiography about one man's life as a clerk in Lisbon. Rather than focusing on facts, the author concentrates on what is vital in one's life, on what makes us who we are, our sentiments and emotions, our dreams and confusions. He wrote about this book, I would like the reading of this book to leave you with the impression that you have traversed a sensual nightmare. Pessoa, who died in 1935, is now considered Portugal's finest modernist. This is unfinished book, but this is beauty of it. It's not about plot or narrative, it's philosophy. He wrote about art. Art is a substitute for acting or living. If life is the willful expression of emotion, art is the intellectual expression of that same emotion. No one has explored alternative selves with Pessoa's mixture of determination and abandon. In a time which celebrates fame, success, stupidity, convenience, and noise, here is the perfect antidote, a hymn of praise to unconscious dreams, obscurity, failure, intelligence, difficulty, and silence. He wrote about travel. Life is what we make of it. Travel is the traveler. What we see isn't what we see, but what we are. Enjoy the book. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and share this video. Do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the bell icon.